Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News for Wednesday, November 16th, 2022. Stand up for your country. So, Donald Trump back in the game. He's channeling Teddy Roosevelt. I don't know how many of you realize that I'm a big Teddy guy. He lived about 15 miles east of me here on Long Island. Magnificent place, Sagamore Hill. If you're ever around, go up and see it. And Teddy was quite the character. So Teddy Roosevelt left office in 1908. And William Taft took over as president. Teddy didn't like Taft. All right, so Teddy decided in 1912 to run again as a populist, almost exactly like Donald Trump is running. Trump's not a party guy. He's running as a populist. So Teddy ran as a populist. He thought he could beat Taft and Woodrow Wilson. So the third party, Bull Moose Party. Well, Teddy got his butt kicked. He didn't do well. But he brought Taft down, and Wilson became president for 8 years. And some people say Wilson was a dreadful president. He's a very controversial guy. So I was thinking about Teddy when I was watching the Trump speech last night, because it was an interesting exercise in populism. As I said, Trump is not a doctrinaire conservative or a Republican Party guy, but he has to run on that ticket. But I don't know if the ticket is going to embrace him. And that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. So it is a tough pathway for Donald Trump. There are 538 electoral votes altogether in this country. 270 are needed to win the presidency. Trump cannot win 210 of those. Those states will not vote for him under any circumstances. He can win 219. That leaves 109 electoral votes up for grabs in 8 states, including Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, all problematic for Donald Trump. He's got to win 2 of the 3 of those. Now, what he has going for him, an advantage that Trump has, is that things in America will get worse in the next 2 years because Joe Biden is so incompetent. It's almost beyond belief. If you are following what's happening at the southern border, it's almost beyond belief that a sitting president of the United States would make no attempt to stem millions of foreign nationals from illegally entering this country. And Biden will not do it. And he's not going to do it. Okay? So that the economy, violent crime, foreign relations, all are going to get worse in the next 2 years because Biden cannot govern this country. And of course, he's not going to run again. All right, his own party doesn't want him to run again. So that's a huge advantage for Donald Trump because the way it is now, okay, in November 2022 is not the way it's going to be in January 2024 when the campaign will start in earnest. The disadvantage that Trump has is that he has a competitor who is very successful. That would be Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida. DeSantis was the big winner last week in the midterm vote. There's no doubt about it. He is on the world stage. He wants to run for president. He is raising money. He is visiting other states. He is doing what he has to do to lay the groundwork. Now, unlike Trump, DeSantis can't start running tomorrow and announce. He can't. He was just reelected as governor. He's got to govern Florida for at least a year. He's got to. So Trump can do the rallies, can run around, he can do whatever he wants, reignite the MAGA base. That's why the speech was held last night. Trump knew that DeSantis was gaining momentum and he had to get out there and reignite his base. I don't know whether it's going to work or not. Okay, because there are Republicans who have had enough of Donald Trump. Maybe you watching tonight. So it's a division, and the division hurts the Republican Party. All Democrats want is a bloody primary between DeSantis and Trump. That's what they're praying for, to injure the party, just like Teddy Roosevelt and William Taft. The same thing. Okay. So the speech last night for the first 18 minutes was stellar when you are looking at it from a political point of view, not a party or ideological point of view. Political. It was a very sharp speech. No mention of 2020 election. Thank God. Americans do not want to hear that. Okay? The first round of the speech was what Trump accomplished. And he did accomplish quite a few good things for this country. Anyone who says he did not is lying to you or so stupid you shouldn't be having a conversation with them anyway, one or the other. So Trump, rolled out his accomplishments and he kept them tight so everybody could understand. Then he went into attacking Biden, which is pretty easy at this point. Roll soundbite one.
Now we have a president who falls asleep at global conferences, was held in contempt by the British Parliament over Afghanistan. Thanks to the words of wisdom, he said thank you to the wrong country for inviting him to a major summit on the environment of all things. They fly for days to get there, and then he calls the country a name that was actually a country on another continent. And he's leading us to the brink of nuclear war, a concept unimaginable just 2 short years ago.
Okay, so, that's not hard to do. You just take and disassemble Joe Biden, and Republicans want to hear that. I don't know how many independents want to hear it, but independents should be listening to that. And then Trump lowers the boom. Go.
It's crazy what's happening. We can't let it continue. Joe Biden is the face of left-wing failure and Washington corruption. He had a big G20 dinner tonight. Everybody flew over to wherever they flew over. And guess what? He never showed up. They're still looking for him. What's going on?
That's true. He didn't show up at the big dinner at Biden, which I said yesterday was almost unheard of for the leader of the free world, particularly when you had that missile thing in Poland, which we'll get to. Okay, so for the first 18 minutes, good speech. But the speech lasted 1 hour and 4 minutes and 19 seconds. So Donald Trump then went into the Dion zone. Remember Dion, the singer? The Wanderer? Great song. And he just started to wander all over the place. And somebody told him, don't be a bomb thrower, don't be hysterical out there. So he was lower key than usual. But an hour and 4 minutes? No. That speech should have wrapped up in 20 minutes. That's all you need. Get your point across, get the crowd jazzed, and get off. So that tells me that still management of the Trump campaign is not where it should be. Okay? You can't be rambling on for an hour. He will. He'll have his rallies, and that's what he'll do. Now, I wrote a message of the day that predicts what will happen now, and I hope you read it on BillO'Reilly.com. You don't have to be a member. Every morning, a message of the day. Go in. Here's what's going to happen now. Here's how the media is going to treat Trump. This is what is likely to happen. I can predict with certainty about the media. I can't predict the political nature of this because I don't know how bad things are going to get in America. They're going to get bad, but I don't know how bad. And I don't know the relationship between DeSantis and Trump. If they go at each other in mutual destruction, the Democrats win. And I'm sure of that. So that's where we are today. And again, it is a tough pathway for Trump. Not impossible because of Biden's incompetence. Okay, let's do this missile thing. So I'm on the air yesterday on the No Spin News, and I hope many of you saw it and listened to it. And in my ear, right here, there's an electronic gizmo where my producer can talk directly to me. So she says, a Russian missile just killed 2 people in Poland. All right? And I'm talking to you as I'm hearing this in my ear. So I have to make an instantaneous decision. Okay, do I report that to you on the No Spin News? Or do I wait and see what the situation is? Because it is the fog of war, I waited. I'm experienced journalist enough to know that first reports out of a war zone are almost always wrong. And this thing got totally out of control fast, this missile killing 2 poor Polish farmers. But we didn't know for sure where the missile came from. Now they say it was a Ukraine air defense missile, not a Russian missile. But who knows? You still don't have the definitive situation. But right after the story broke, unfortunately, there was kind of mini hysteria. Roll the tape.
We start here. If World War III begins between Russia and NATO, history, or what's left of it, will note today, November 15th, 2022, as the point of no return.
Now, Leland Vittert is a good, solid reporter, and he did a lot of overseas work for Fox when I was there. He made a mistake. He whipped it up. Now, not a big mistake, but that was echoed by, I saw it last night, and then Biden himself, without really knowing what the deuce happened, comes out and says this. Go.
There was total unanimity among the folks at the table. And we also discussed the latest series of Russian missile attacks, which are continuing the brutality and inhumanity that they've demonstrated throughout this war against Ukrainian cities and civilian infrastructures. And they've been totally unconscionable, what they're doing. Totally unconscionable.
And that's true, okay? And nothing will happen from this missile thing because I do believe it probably was a Ukrainian defensive missile that went off course and landed in Poland. If I'm wrong, obviously I'll tell you, but it doesn't look like it's going to get, this story probably disappears pretty fast. Listen to this. Convicted home title thief explaining what happens after he forges your home's title and takes over as the new owner.
Nobody thinks that I can take their house and borrow against the house. Oh no, I have title insurance. It's in my name, or he would have to get some special document. They would call me. Nobody's calling you. After I've stolen the title, borrowed against it, or sold the property, it's 60 to 90 days for that person to even figure out that they're the victim of this crime. You start getting foreclosure notices. You've got 4 mortgages on your house. You don't even own your home anymore. It's not even in your name.
Home title fraud is growing 2.5 times faster than credit card fraud, if you can believe it. You could be a victim and not even know it. Here's how to protect yourself and verify your home's title is still in your name. Please visit HometitleLock.com, promo code RADIO. Then register your address for your no-obligation home title report, a $100 value free. Again, get your free home title report at HometitleLock.com, promo code RADIO. All right, American politics, let's go to the House. They're still not definitively calling it for the Republicans, but it is going to be a Republican majority in the House of Representatives. I got the number today at 221. That's the O'Reilly number, okay? And 218 is needed for the majority. Now, it is a scandal that California and Alaska and what happened in Nevada and Arizona, there should be federal monitors in there right now. Right now. You can't not count the votes. And California is not counting them. And they're all Republican districts. They're just not counting them. We're not going to count them. Boom. Federal monitors go in. Okay? But Biden's never going to do that. He didn't even know about it. It's like that. But it's so frustrating for those of us who want honest elections. Now, as we said yesterday, once the Republicans gain control of the House, you say goodbye to Nancy Pelosi, thank God, and then the Republicans have a pretty wide range of things they can do. They could investigate Hunter Biden. They could investigate why Joe Biden won't take any action on the border, which is a violation of American immigration law. Biden's violating the law. They could do that in their committee meetings, just like January 6th. Trump riot. Republicans could set it up and do all that, and Democrats can't stop them. Okay? And in addition, the House will be a restraint on spending, which we desperately need if we want to bring inflation down. So joining us now from Lakeland, Florida, is former Congressman Dennis Ross, a Republican. He served from 2011 to 2019 in the House. He now is the director of the American Center for Political Leadership at Southeastern University in Florida. So when you saw the Trump announcement last night, as a good Republican, I assume you remain in the Republican Party, what did you think?
I was concerned, and please understand, I was one of the few members of Congress that was supportive of Trump early on before he got elected. I spoke at 5 of his rallies. I was on his transition team. I was very pleased with the tax reform package we did in December of 2017. But what sticks in my craw about the Trump administration, I think it will many of the American people, is what happened on January 6th. And I also know Ron DeSantis very well. We served together from 2012 until I left, and he is a very determined politician, very calculating, a chess player that looks down the line. I think the American people want to see a unified leader. I think they want somebody that has conservative principles, but doesn't want to divide the nation in applying those principles. So I was concerned. I wasn't surprised at the speech. I wasn't surprised at the length of the speech he gave last night. And it is business as usual for the former president, who I have a great deal of respect for. And I think he was one of our best presidents that we've had leading up to January 6th. But do not count out Ron DeSantis. And I think that absent the fact that all the money has been taken out of the political arena by the Trump campaign, that there's a good path to victory for Ron DeSantis at this point.
Do you think he would go up against Trump in a bloody primary? Because that would help the Democrats for sure and hurt the Republicans.
Well, I also think, President Trump is calculating himself. And I think that if he could be a kingmaker, knowing that he could not be king again, if that's what the odds are going to show him, there's an opportunity that the two could work something out. But I've never seen anybody close up as I have with Ron DeSantis being so calculated and so effective. I mean, I remember when he was trying to get President Trump's attention at the bill signing in December of 2017 to get his endorsement to run for governor of Florida. I mean, he has a game plan that he doesn't back down on, and he's been running for president for quite some time. So if the two match up like two heavyweights, it would not be good for the Republican Party. And I think that the American people are not going to want to see the results of that battle.
Yeah, I mean, that would be quite something, because DeSantis isn't like Trump in the ad hominem attack area. Or correct me if I'm wrong. I mean,
he is not.
Yeah, he made fun of Charlie Crist and all that, but Trump's, he goes right for the throat, and he's already diminished in rhetoric DeSantis a little bit. Now, over to the House of Representatives, it's going to be very tight, so that the Republicans are not going to have a mandate, but the Republicans are going to be in charge of the House. Why is that important, in your opinion, for the country?
Well, it's very important. When we took over the House in 2011, we had a large majority and had a difficult time passing a conservative agenda. But what we were able to do is to stop the agenda of the left that was done by Harry Reid and President Obama. We became the party of obstruction, the party of no, but we did a lot of work to prevent more liberal policies from being implemented by that administration. Once you have the majority in the House, you control the agenda. You have subpoena power, you have investigatory powers, and you will be able to bring in witnesses to find out why we abandoned not only our soldiers and our allies in Afghanistan, but our equipment as well. You can bring in witnesses to find out why Hunter Biden hasn't been investigated. There are a lot of things that you can do, and a lot of legislation that you can pass knowing it won't get anywhere, but it will be a message for what will happen in 2024 if you elect all Republicans in both houses and in the White House.
Yeah, the problem with the Hunter Biden stuff in particular is that independent Americans, which broke for the Democrats, and they were the difference in Nevada and Arizona and other states, they don't seem to want that. So all Republicans do. Yeah, all Republicans want it. All right, and I think if there is evidence that ties Hunter Biden to his father financially, that has to be investigated. That has to. Okay.
Well, I agree
go
with
ahead.
you.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say we also saw it in the 2020 election. Was the election stolen or not? The American people don't really want to know anymore. They want to move forward.
Yeah.
Remember when
that?
Yeah, when Nixon resigned and Ford pardoned him back in the 70s, people wanted, well, you can go after Nixon, you can do criminal sanctions and penalties against him, but it wasn't for the good of America, and it's cost Ford probably his reelection bid.
Yeah.
Americans want to go forward. They want to see a brighter future. They're willing to forgive the past as long as they know that they've got a strong, bright future ahead of them with a good leader.
Will that apply to Hunter Biden? No.
I tell you, there's a base over here in the Republican Party that wants to go after him badly, and they're going to have to temper that, because I don't know, like you said, for the financial relationships that he may have that were done illegally, yes, I think they should go after him. But to continue to just smear him for political gain, remember what happened when we had the Select Committee on Benghazi, and then Leader McCarthy said, look at what we've done to the polls against Hillary Clinton. He said what people didn't want him to say, was that this was a political move. And I don't think that the American public want to see us just go after Biden for political gain. If there's merit to it, then go for it.
Okay. What about the border, though? You could easily impeach Joe Biden for failing to uphold immigration law. Then he took an oath to uphold it, and he just won't. That's not a hard thing to do. It's pretty vivid. Do you think that might happen?
Well, if you've only got a 4-vote majority in the House, you might be able to, have a hearing on impeachment, but getting an impeachment proceeding and getting an actual impeachment vote against the president, I think is going to be very difficult with those numbers. We had a nearly 30-vote majority at one time, and we couldn't get much done. Nancy Pelosi had a 5-vote majority and could get everything done. It is a function of leadership, and it has to be effective, assertive leadership that gets the agenda passed.
Well, but as you know, Pelosi used a different tactic. She said, if you don't vote my way, we're cutting your money off, and we're not going to give you a cent for your reelection campaign, and House members have to run every 2 years. That's why she whipped her members into line. It was always my way or no money.
Correct. And also, remember when Mark Meadows filed the motion to vacate the chair against John Boehner, and that put him at risk to have the privilege motion called up, and they would have voted with all the Democrats and a few of the Freedom Caucus to get rid of John Boehner as Speaker. When Nancy Pelosi becomes Speaker, she has that removed from her rules, so they can't file the motion. I can bet you that when McCarthy, as part of his package to become Speaker with 218 Republican votes, is going to have to put in the motion to vacate the chair as part of the rules again to keep him in check by his right wing. And that's going to prohibit getting a lot of things done under a consensus of 218 Republicans, as we used to refer to it as the Hastert rule, that we wouldn't bring anything to the floor unless we had 218 Republicans voting for it. I don't see that happening with a slim majority. It almost is going to have to force across the aisle negotiations to get any substantive stuff done. Otherwise, they will be the party of no, which is fine. Again, if the left wing agenda is that extreme, then you need to be no.
Right. If it's reasonable legislation, you got to compromise. Okay, Mr. Ross, we really appreciate it. Very astute, as always. And thanks for taking the time for helping us out today. Inflation at its highest level in 40 years. Interest rates skyrocketing. We all know that. Market experts like Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, not only predict a recession, but are using scary terms like economic hurricane and unprecedented. So, you need to call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Please call them today, and they will have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. They have thousands of satisfied customers, are the highest rated firm in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they'll give you up to $2,500 of free silver on your first order. Please call 866-501-5201, 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. Again, 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. 32. I forgot the word of the day. The word of the day is do not be a witling. W-I-T-L-I-N-G. Witling. Okay, so tomorrow I'm off because I got to do this medical stuff. So each autumn I kind of tune up the carburetor, and I want you to do the same thing. So I got to get stuff taken off me on the melanoma, skin cancer stuff. Not that I have skin cancer. My father died from it. I don't have it. But I'm super aggressive in going in and they freeze the stuff and they do this, they do that. It's not that bad. But boy, I got a DNA problem with that. And then I got some stomach stuff I got to take care of. So I got to be off tomorrow. But I'll be back on Monday and Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. And we will have stuff on BillO'Reilly.com. Sunday new column we'll have. We got the message of the day every day there. And we got the crossword puzzles. And you don't have to be premium members to do this stuff. You just go in there and have a good time. All right? Premium members get all kinds of perks. Concierge members, I've already explained. But you just want to cruise around, have some fun, learn some stuff, you go to BillO'Reilly.com. So I'll miss you guys tomorrow. And we will see you again on Monday. Hiring, of course, should be done on merit. Unfortunately, many large financial firms are using your money to force companies like Apple and Home Depot to adopt so-called racial equity audits. Strive Asset Management believes it makes companies like those less successful. But here's the good news. It is your money, not theirs. Strive just launched the Strive 500 on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol STRV. Strive uses their shareholder power to mandate America's largest public companies to focus on products and profits instead of politics and social justice. The bigger Strive gets, the more powerful their voice will be. Text BILL to 55022 to learn how you can buy the Strive 500, ticker STRV. That's BILL to 55022 to learn how you can buy Strive today.
Investors should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses carefully before investing. For a prospectus or summary prospectus with this and other information about the fund, please call 855-427-7360 or visit our website at www.strivefunds.com. Read the prospectus or summary prospectus carefully before investing. Investments involve risk. Principal loss is possible. The Strive ETFs are distributed by Quasar Distributors, LLC.